morning, lovely Pinto. How are you today? And Christine, welcome in. And Resell America and Nancy Yaw. Thanks for joining. Kathy, Fred, Cindy, Cindem. Hey, more, welcome in. You were in our show yesterday. Welcome. Cindy is good. Good. Hey, Green Eyes. I have green eyes too. Welcome in. And Montana Deb. Welcome. Kimber Z. So everybody read the show notes. Good morning. Hey, Personal Twist. That's a fun name. In the show notes, if you scroll down, I have, and for some reason it's not letting me scroll on that screen. I have at the very bottom the local meetups that are in Tampa, Florida and Scottsdale, Arizona. They're coming up really fast. The one in Tampa, Florida is this Saturday, and the one in Scottsdale is on the 3rd of April. If you happen to live within driving distance of either of those and would like to attend, it is for sellers who want to meet up, and it's sponsored by Whatnot, and they'll meet at a restaurant or whatever, and then you'll get fed and you get swag and you get to meet other sellers. And in the one in Phoenix, they're actually having some special Whatnot employee guests. So, yeah, if everyone wants to, please let me know if you are in those areas and want to go to either of those. Message me and I can get you the link for the invitation. So you do have to RSVP to the event. But it's not too late. They're still taking attendees. So if anyone wants to go to those, let me know. Welcome, welcome. Hope everyone's having a good day. Hope you had a good Monday. Cindem says, I don't do lives, have stuff posted for buy now. Are these ever promoted by Whatnot? I have sold 4 things. Not typically, but if someone did a Google search that was very, very specific to your item, it would come up because everything, is searchable. But do they necessarily promote those things? No. So you would have to promote your own shop to post, to social media and stuff. And honestly, the way to sell things on Whatnot is through lives. It's not really it is a marketplace, but it's going to be tough to get found and sell your stuff on Whatnot without doing lives. So that is kind of how this platform is set up. Good morning, Lynn's Bins. How are you? And Duke Boy. And thanks for coming in. Oh, yeah. So if you have a YouTube channel and, other social media, you can definitely, show the items that you have listed and try and promote them that way. But yeah, it's, it's not, the marketplace on here is secondary to the lives. That's for sure. It's more like people find you and then happen to notice something you had in your shop that they buy later. Hey, Deb for Casey, how are you? And Mary Locke and Michael STE, welcome in. Thanks for joining us. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat with a question mark. Let's see. When does the allowance Whatnot gives you for shipping reset? Every Sunday at about, what I've noticed is at about 5 or 6 p.m. my time is when it resets. So then that's when you start over with your 5 allowances. So if you have shipments you need to do that you think you might need to use an adjustment, make sure you do them before Sunday afternoon so that that you can use the shipments, you know, the adjustments if you have some left from the previous week. Yeah. So Sin said, I did one live when I first started, epic fail. So Sin, that's pretty much most people's experience with your first live. So you need to try again because you have to kind of give it some time, and it's not a one, you know, usually everybody's first show is kind of that way. It just happens. But if you've been on a while and you've been networking and you've built up a little bit more of a following, definitely, you know, try again, get some of the tips and tricks and figure it out. And then usually it gets much better. I had a lot of epic fail shows when I first started, and that was, you know, end of 2022. So, and really, new sellers now have a much better community support, depending on what category you're in, to give you a good boost to get started, especially if you've networked and, you know, have people that will come support you. So, yeah, and you kind of just have to look at those first shows, like Kimber says. You have to look at those first shows more as practice, learning experience, you know, kind of learning how to do it. So it's more, view it more of that than, and less of, you know, it was an epic fail. So, all right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Kim and RTM and Harvey, Snook and Rattlesnake and Diddle Do with a hilarious laughing face. That's fun. So you have a ton of plush built up. Try again. Yeah, try again. Definitely worth trying again. And yeah, a good idea from Lynn's to get on some raid trains for new sellers because they help a lot. Just make sure you know how to run a show, and definitely worth, you know, trying again. All right, let me get my top 10 tips pinned here. This is for everyone who is new, who is not so new. These are kind of the 10 things that you need to be doing consistently to make sure you are, you know, doing all the things that will set you up for success. So you just tap the little picture there of the document like that, bring it up, tap it again and make it big, and then you can screenshot this. And this is a list of 10 things that you should be doing to consistently to be, you know, have good success and be able to have good growth on Whatnot. So make sure you screenshot those, and we can talk about any of them. If you read through that and you're like, what does this mean? Or how do you do this? Ask away, put a question mark in the chat, and we can discuss it more, because it's not like a very thorough list as far as details. It just describes the things you should be doing. And so if you don't know what some of those mean, be sure and ask. And in here, there are no stupid questions, because a lot of you are new. And so you don't even know what terms mean sometimes. So Mary Lack says, keep watching, Draz. This show is most of the reason my shows go well now. Gain followers, find new sellers to watch, and get accurate answers. Oh, thank you, Mary Lack. Appreciate the endorsement there. All right. So on that note, who was in my last community seller support chat that we did last Wednesday morning, where I gave you guys some homework? Was anyone there and wants to report back on some of the things that you've been doing? So I gave you some homework in that show, and one of them was to do a 24-hour lead up to your next show that you had that, you know, time frame still, and do a couple of things. One was to make sure your title and your thumbnail were just super on point, like really good thumbnail, really good title. Do some things to spruce it up. And then you did Lynn's Bins. Okay, so tell us about it. And then the other thing was to go out and watch 10 shows you've never watched before, people you've never watched, and then ask yourself, why did I want to stay or why did I want to leave? And write those things down and start doing some soul searching about what you can do to change things up in your show so people are going to want to stay. So that was your homework. So Mama Dawn, why would I be charged shipping difference when trying to use an adjustment? So the only time that you're charged is if it is outside the dimensions or weight for what is allowed. So there are maximums on dimensions and weight on packages. So if you're trying to enter something that was too large, too heavy, or you had the wrong setting set on it, that would be outside of your adjustments. So like, for example, if you have, so for Ground Advantage, the max dimension is 130 inches total height times, or height plus width plus girth. So if it was bigger than that, it would charge you even though you have adjustments, because there's a max. So you need to make sure that you understand, that things that are, and you can't send more than 70 pounds flat rate. And if you had it set for a priority box or a flat rate box, it just depends on how you had it set. So, but for the most part, as long as it falls within those things, you should be able to use an adjustment. All right, so let's see. I watched I Love Discounts and ended up spending over $100 and now a dedicated watcher. Homework works. Uh-oh. So there you go. You found someone that you love, but did you write down why you loved her show? Well, what about it made you want to stay? Specifics. You know what I mean? So that you can mimic some things in your own style that will help you have that kind of vibe, that kind of, the way that she ran her show, the kind of products she had, whatever it was. So fast, friendly, and good way of showing items. There you go. So Colbert has a new friend that is selling in the craft category. If anyone wants to follow. So Trist 26200, 25 years of crafting supplies. Ooh, dangerous. So yeah, anyone who loves the crafting category, make sure you give Trist a follow. So Lynn's Bin says, I gained at least 15 bookmarks in a week for my next show from putting a video in there. Yeah, see? Awesome. Okay, awesome. All right, let's see. I have followed many on Whatnot, as well as another live auction platform. Have bought probably too much. Yeah, I think we all have, Sin. It's addictive. Tried to restart show, did all steps. It did let me restart. I could see my camera on and read chat, but my buyers could only hear me. Yeah, that should. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened on that end. Mate, did you, so if you followed all the directions and did everything, the only thing I can think maybe is if you restarted on a different device than originally, that could have possibly been it. Like, because you have to restart on the web, but you go to the original device to actually stream the show. That's the only thing I can think of. Same app. Yeah, because it should let you, because it basically just puts your show back in the feed as if it didn't happen, so to speak. I mean, it knows it happened, but it puts it back in the feed as a live show to restart, and so it should work. So I'm not sure what happened there. But they could only hear you, so audio. I wonder if it was one of the days. There were some days where there were a bunch of really glitchy things happening because they were doing some updates, so it's possible it was just bad timing for when some other things were happening. So I'm not sure. Let's see. How do you set up giveaways? So giveaways are a listing that you enter just like you list another item, but you put it in the category of giveaway. So if you click on your shop, see how you have a menu up here for auction, buy it now, and giveaways. So just click giveaway, and then you can add a giveaway in there. Okay, that's how you set them up. So you just create a listing as a giveaway instead of as an auction item or as a buy it now item. So try that and then let me know if you have problems figuring it out. But it's that simple. Just go into giveaway and then set it up as a giveaway. And you can also, once you've created an item as a listing, you can change it to a giveaway if you want to. I don't think you can go back from making it a giveaway unless it's I think you can on follower giveaways, but once you create a buyer giveaway, that listing is not changeable because that's one of those that has all the rules, that it's a buyer giveaway. You can't like change it or edit it or anything because it's now locked in to the rules for giveaways. I have a weird squeak on my treadmill. It's driving me nuts. Let me see if there's something stuck on my rail. I don't know. I'll have to look at it later. All right. So yeah, but once you enter a listing, it can be changed from auction to buy it now, back to auction. It can be changed to a giveaway. And if you change it to a follower giveaway, and then don't run it, I think you can change it back. You just can't change buyer giveaways. So you have some flexibility with listings to be able to just move them around. So, all right. So yeah, follow that user Trist. It's not coming up for me when I try to click it. So, because you put a question mark on there. So I'll try to put it in without the question mark at the end, and it'll make it clickable for everybody. Colbit. Because it wasn't letting me click it in that comment. Let me see. Oh, and yeah, people are saying that's great. We can follow, but they don't have any shows scheduled. So we can't really bookmark. Yeah. So make sure they get some shows scheduled. That's my number one tip, by the way. So I still keep seeing a lot of new sellers go live for the first time, and they don't have additional shows scheduled. That's the number one tip I have is you've got to have shows scheduled and have them scheduled out because that's how people find you. That's how you start getting bookmarks, and people can then bookmark your upcoming shows when they're in a show. If they like what they see and want to come back, if you don't have any other shows scheduled, good luck having them find you again, right? You've got to get shows scheduled and have shows on there for them to bookmark for upcoming shows. That's my number one tip on there, is get a lot of shows scheduled. How do auctions without having to take pictures of everything and listing it all in advance? So Kathy, you need to add some generic listings. So I would recommend, highly recommend, for all new sellers to have 20 to 30 items pre-listed. You know, it's the exact item, has the pictures, has the weight, everything. And then have some generic listings that you can run things under just by weight when you run out of the stuff that you had pre-listed, so that you can continue to sell without having to add items as you go. So what's a generic listing? A generic listing is just something where you have a picture that is something pretty, that says, you know, if you sell craft items, craft item 1 to 4 ounces, craft item 4 to 7 ounces, and tell people not to pre-bid on those listings, and then have multiple units of that. So like a couple hundred units or whatever. Hey, Wild Granny, welcome in. How you doing today? How's it going? Did you get a show scheduled? Are you going to be able to do one? Yeah, so if you look in my shows, just go into one of my upcoming shows that's this week and scroll down, and you'll see in my auction tab those generic listings. And so you just have a picture, you just create something on, a picture with the words 4 to 7 ounces or whatever. And then you have it set up for that weight. And then when you sell that item, you just weigh it and you pick the appropriate listing for that weight and then sell it through that listing. That's how you do it. So you keep hoping, oh, darn. So hopefully things get better. She's taking care of her elderly in-laws, and it makes it hard for her to do anything but survive. And so, yeah, life throws us curveballs every once in a while. So everybody send Wild Granny good vibes and love, because it's hard to do those hard things. So what if the weight is less than you put in? Does it adjust the shipping? So if the weight is less than what you put in, well, there's no way for the software to know what it weighs unless you put it in. So the way that you tell people, or the way that you tell the software, what something weighs, is by how you list it. So you list it and put the weight in there. And then after the fact, when you've sold the items, you can go in and change, the dimensions of the package and the weight of the package. If you're doing flat rate, it doesn't really matter. You can just select the package, the flat rate package that you're going to use. And weight and dimensions don't matter, because they know the dimensions of the flat rate boxes, and the weight can be up to 70 pounds. But if you're using Ground Advantage or Priority, you click the little pencil on the end of their order and put in the correct dimensions of the package and the weight. And then it will, adjust it. But it doesn't refund the buyer at all. So if you don't have your weights correct and you overcharge the person for shipping, then that's, you've overcharged. So that's why it's important to try and have it correct up front as far as how you have it set up. So that's why I tell people, if about 90%, 85 to 90% of what you sell is going to fit in flat rate packaging, then you should be using flat rate in your shipping settings. So domestic, 1 to 5 pounds, flat rate. 5 pounds and over, flat rate. And then the few times that someone buys too much that it won't fit in flat rate, you use one of your adjustments to unbundle the order and put it either in a bigger box that's not flat rate or put it in 2 different boxes. If what you sell is not going to fit in flat rate packaging, then your shipping settings need to be at 1 to 5 pounds priority and 5 pounds and over ground advantage. And then you need to make sure you try and have your listings correct for how much they weigh. I do know sellers that use custom shipping profiles for everything they sell because they just have consistent things that they sell that weigh the same. So, for example, maybe they sell makeup and they have, lipsticks weigh this much, compacts weigh this much, this cream I sell weighs this much. And they just, when they list it, they pick the weight that they've put in there that's called lipstick. They have a custom shipping profile for every item that they sell. And then it's very accurate because, they know. And you do have to consider the packaging. So if the thing that you're going to sell can go in a poly mailer, then you only need to consider that you're adding a couple of ounces to be able to mail it. If the thing you're selling has to be in a box, then you need to consider the weight of the box as well. And that does tend to then over calculate shipping, because if they buy 5 items that have to be in a box and it bundled them, it's going to bundle it. But it really doesn't matter at that point because it's over a pound usually, and then they've just hit that max 921. And as long as they don't go over 5 pounds, if you have it set for ground advantage, then they've just paid 921. When it starts going over 5 pounds, it incrementally charges them more to hit the ground advantage rate that matches up with the weight of the box. So, and then again, the way you have to be careful too is just know that the max size a ground advantage box can be is total dimensions adding up to 130 inches. If it's bigger than that, you're not going to want to use it because it will charge you the overage and it will be expensive. It won't let you use an adjustment because the max size the box can be in ground advantage is 130 inches when you add up the height of the box, the length of the box, and the width of the box. Does that make sense? All right. And then for priority, the max girth has to be under 12 by 12 by 12 total girth. Let's see. I saw one seller, they're showing said shipping 2 items, next 6 free. How did they set it up? So they're doing flat rate shipping. So they have a listing where it is set to 8 to 11 ounces. So the first 2 items they buy charges them shipping, and then 8 to 11 ounces at 11 plus 11 puts them over a pound. And then the next are going to be free up to 5 pounds because that's how they have it set, is flat rate for 1 to 5 pounds. And then it's going to start charging again if they buy more than 6 or more than 8 items, because the first 2 it charged, next 6 are free, and then over 5 pounds. So whatever they sell, they have a very specific weight that they know everything's going under, and that's how they're doing it. So yeah, it just depends on what you sell. You've got to get that figured out. Figure out how it's going to work. And I know you have no way of knowing what people are going to buy. And so you probably need to curate your shows based on, what you're selling so that it's going to work out for you for shipping and for the buyers as well. So maybe you have a show where everything you sell is smaller and easy to bundle and do flat rate shipping. And then maybe the larger items you sell in a different show where you have it set for priority and ground advantage, because that show you're not going to be able to bundle a lot of items, and you maybe custom profile some specific items that need to be shipped by themselves, if that makes sense. Okay. So yeah, I just would do bigger items in a different show. You know, have a show that features your bigger, fancier, more expensive items. People are still going to want to come buy them because of what they are, but you're going to specify this has to be shipped by itself. If you buy more than one, it's going to charge separate shipping, and you have it entered with a custom shipping profile that is set for only one item per box. And then you let them know if you buy more than one, that's great, but it's going to ship separately because I have to package these separately to be able to ship them safely. So look up custom shipping profiles. If you need more info on how to do that, just do frequently asked questions, custom shipping profile. You'll find the info of how to enter those. You just enter them in Seller Hub in your shipping, and then you just add an additional profile and you name it something that makes sense. So if you sell big glass vases, for example, those are normally going to need to be shipped by themselves because you're going to have to bubble wrap the heck out of it and put extra padding, and you don't want anything else in the box with it. So you may have a custom shipping profile that you call vase, you know, over 5 pounds or something like that. And then when you have one of those big vases, you use that profile and it's set up to ship by itself. All right. So look that up if you need help setting up a shipping profile. It's very simple to do. You just have to know how to do it and how to put the settings so that it will work out for you. And I always, if I enter something like that, I always specify in the listing as well as tell them verbally that this item will ship by itself and you will get charged separately from any other items that you purchase during this show, because this item to be safely shipped has to be shipped by itself. So that's, you know, so you can do it. You just have to make sure you have everything set right. So welcome in everybody. Read the show notes. And I've got my top 10 tips list pinned. So if you want to look at that, hey, in a Violet World, welcome in. So if you want to look at that, just click the little picture of the document, click it again, bring it up big. This is my top 10 tips for sellers. All of the things that you need to be doing consistently to be able to have a good start and good growth in your Whatnot shop. So make sure you screenshot that. And it doesn't say anything about shipping on there because that's a whole nother beast. A whole nother beast. All right. Let me pin the shipping 101 guide as well, just so that everyone has that. And I was told in a show, and I haven't gone back and watched, but there's someone who does a PowerPoint presentation training thing on shipping. I hesitate to recommend it till I've gone and watched it, but someone mentioned it in my seller chat last week that there is someone who's doing like a step-by-step PowerPoint shipping. So I need to go back and watch that show and find the name of that person. If someone knows who that was, I can go check it out. But yeah, on YouTube, I guess they're doing it. So they take you step by step through shipping. So that could be helpful. But I've got my shipping 101 guide pinned here. And if you click the picture of the packages, and then click it again, bring it up big, and then slide to the other pages. There's 3 pages of information there, plus at the end of that, there's this little shipping decision tree. I think this is the most helpful thing out of all of that information because it gives you a visual flow chart of figuring out how to decide how to ship something and how to set your shipping settings. So if you look at that, see it tells you, well, the very first thing it asks is, does it have anything hazmat? So anything hazmat has to go ground. You can't send it through priority because priority often is going through airmail. So once you've got that decided, then how much is it going to weigh? Obviously, if it's under 15 ounces, it's going ground advantage, and you have or envelope if it will work for an envelope. If it's over a pound, then you're going to decide if it's going in a regular priority box or a flat rate box or ground advantage. So you just have to figure out the shipping settings for that. And flat rate, the rule for flat rate is if it fits, it ships. As long as it's under 70 pounds, and I don't know of anyone that sells items that are 70 pounds. Let me know if you do, but I don't know of anyone selling 70-pound items. So if it fits in a flat rate box and it's less than 70 pounds, you can use flat rate boxes. If it is over 70 pounds, you probably shouldn't be selling it on here. It's probably too big. But if it doesn't fit in a flat rate box because it's too big, too bulky, needs too much bubble wrap, whatever, then you're going to want to use either priority or ground advantage. And if it's over 5 pounds, it's usually a better rate for the buyer to do ground advantage. So set your shipping settings accordingly. How can I, as a buyer, choose ground to keep postage less? You cannot. So as a buyer, you're pretty much, if you don't like how they have the settings set, let them know. But you don't have a choice as a buyer, unfortunately, because the way Whatnot works, the shipping is based on bundling versus other platforms where you go in and you buy an item and you can specify, I want this upgraded or downgraded. That's not really how Whatnot works because it's live auction style. So whatever settings the seller has put in their shipping is what you have to kind of comply with. So yeah. Lisa by Design has live crafting today at 1 Eastern. And a pop-up, 1 Eastern on Thursday is lace bundles, doilies, and linens. And on the 27th, primitive goodies. So everybody make sure you're following Lisa by Design and go bookmark those shows. Awesome. The other platform does progressive shipping week at a time. It's great. Progressive shipping a week at a time. Oh, so like you can add to your order for up to a week. Is that kind of what you're saying? Okay. Yeah, and that's something Whatnot's looking into. The problem is that their requirement is for you to ship within 2 days. And so most sellers who are on top of things, like we ship our shows the same day or the next day. So we ship really fast because people like to get their stuff fast, right? So in order to do that, they would have to extend the amount of time that people have to ship their items. So yeah. People would have to know then on that other platform that their shipping is not going to be completed until after that progressive time period, right? So that would be the only thing, is that shipping is not necessarily going to be fast because you're getting a discount for progressively adding items. Yeah. Let's see. Just Something About It has a $2 start show at 12:30 today and a Farmhouse Cottage show tomorrow. So everybody give Just Something About It a follow and go bookmark those shows, please. Mary Lack has another Destashing Fabric show on Thursday. And then every week now, starting by 8 a.m. Central, and she ships same day or next day too. Awesome. Kohl's new to you. Someone suggested I always set priority instead of flat rate, and then at time of package I can change to whatever flat rate box I want. So that's a good tip, Kohl, if what you sell, it makes sense. The advantage to being able to do flat rate is being able to set a reduced shipping. That's the big advantage of being able to have flat rate shipping set, because then you get the reduced shipping banner. Sorry, just a second. On your shows. But that is a good tip, because what that does is it gives you a cushion of, if they buy too much that you're not going to be able to use flat rate, then you already had it set at priority and you can use priority versus only having it set at flat rate and it only charged them the $9.21. So if you are not able to use the reduced shipping anyway, then that's a good tip, because you can always toggle flat rate on and use the flat rate box if what they ordered will fit. And so in that way, you still get to take advantage of flat rate boxes if it works, but you're still protected if it doesn't fit in flat rate. Then they already were paying priority, which priority 1 to 5 pounds is the same price as priority flat rate 1 to 5 pounds, $9.21. But if you want that reduced shipping banner, you have to be able to do flat rate, and buyer pays max $9.21. And what I mean by that banner is, if you look at my shows, see how all my shows have that little purple banner that says reduced shipping. So if you can offer reduced shipping, it's a huge boost for you, because your shows will show up higher in search, because that's one of the criteria for, getting higher visual on your shows, because you offer reduced shipping. And it also has been proven that if you can offer reduced shipping, people are more likely to go into shows that have a reduced shipping of some sort. But if you can't, then that is a good strategy. So if that makes sense. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, and it won't count against you at all, because you can turn flat rate on, and as long as their package was under 5 pounds and you're just using, flat rate 1 to 5 pounds, then it's the same price. Because that's what I'm saying. When someone buys stuff in your show, everything under a pound goes ground advantage. That's the default. You can't change it. Well, actually, you can change it on the back end, but why would you? Because then it's going to charge you or use one of your adjustments. But if you have a customer that you want to upgrade their shipping and their thing weighs less than a pound, you can turn flat rate on if you want, and send it priority as a gesture of, I want to get this to you faster. So you can always turn flat rate on. The problem is that it has to be able to fit in flat rate packaging. Or if you didn't have flat rate turned on and you're going to pay the extra if it was under £1. Now, between £1 and £5, the rate is the same, $9.21 for anything you're going to ship in a flat rate package or a priority package. It's that £5 thing that is the difference, because once it hits £5, depending on how you have your shipping setting set, if you have it at flat rate, it stays at $9.21. If you have it at priority, it starts charging priority rates. If you have it set for Ground Advantage, it starts charging the additional Ground Advantage for over £5 up to the weight that you've calculated what they have. Okay. I do not have OBS set up. If you want to learn about OBS, you need to go to D Archivist. She's kind of the techie person on here that knows all that kind of stuff. I haven't really attempted to use it because the people that I've seen using it, there's a lot of glitches unless they really are a pro at it. Because, I mean, the things it allows you to do is to maybe either do a split screen where you have your picture up in a little bubble or in part of the screen and then the table below. It allows you to put fancy graphics running across. There's some nice things you can do, sound effects. If that will enhance your show, take you to another level, learn how to do OBS. There's lots of YouTube videos out there. I just pinned The Archivist if you want to follow her and go. She has YouTube videos. She does seller chats. She talks a lot about techie stuff. I have Lensbins has Ray Trains on the 27th and the 29th, and also a printer tray show tomorrow. Oh, cool. Printer trays are those old-fashioned wood trays with that held the little print blocks, by the way, in case everyone's like, what the heck is a printer tray? All right. Mary Lack says sometimes they have shipped and the post office didn't scan. I have had packages show up suddenly after thinking they were never shipped. Yeah, it happens. What if I sell just books? I always hesitate to do the flat rate box because what if it doesn't fit? Will it default back to media mail? Yes, if you do a book show and it's all books and everything's listed under books, it will allow you to use the media rate, but you can always toggle on flat rate if it makes more sense to send it flat rate. So you have to look at what they bought and how much it added up to. And if the flat rate's cheaper and makes more sense, do it. If not, then, it charges Ground Advantage. But I would have it set for priority and Ground Advantage on books just because that way, if the media rate's cheaper, they can take advantage of that. Mostly from huge sellers who take in a truckload. I get my postmaster go scan even if I stand in line. Oh, yeah. You can print out scan sheets that you can take into the post office. You don't have to have them scan every package. So a scan sheet, it's on the screen when you're doing your shipping. There's a place in the upper right where you can print a scan sheet. And then every order in that show that you had shipped, they scan one code instead of scanning every separate package. So if you're doing that, print those scan sheets so that they don't have to scan individual packages. Oh, you're so welcome, American Honey. Thanks for doing that. Let's see. Bo-Catel, my main question on OBS is that what lets me switch from my phone to my computer? Oh, yeah. So, yes, one of the things OBS does is it allows you to switch between two different cameras or two different devices. So it will let you do that if you want to set that up. But I would suggest that if you do that, it's because you're offering a view of something. One, because maybe you have stuff set up on multiple parts of your studio where you're doing your show, and so you want to switch cameras so you don't have to move a tripod or something. But yeah, you have to be careful with view because if you do too much switching around, it gets confusing and distracting to buyers. Flat rate, if a flat rate box weighs more than 5 pounds, will it still only be $9.21? Yes, because flat rate boxes allow up to 70 pounds. If it fits, it ships. So if you have a flat rate box, no matter how much it weighs, up to 70 pounds, you can still ship it in flat rate. That's the beauty of flat rate. And that's why, if you can offer reduced shipping by doing the flat rate on 1 to 5 and 5 and over, and do the buyer pays max in your shipping settings, buyer pays max $9.21, it gives you that reduced shipping banner on all your shows, that one that's in purple that says reduced shipping. And they've, like I said, that gives you, puts you up higher in visibility, because that's one of their criteria for who gets shown higher up in search is reduced shipping. So if you can offer that, definitely do. All right. Let's see. Let me go back here. Same here. I have one that has not been scanned. Oh, yeah, that happens. When I'm adding listings to my show, I'm on Behance. When I'm adding listings to my show on my computer, there is only a 4 to 6 pound option. Does that mean that priority boxes are $9.21 for 6 pounds? So don't use 4 to 6 if you have something that's going to be below 5. Do a custom shipping profile so that it doesn't put it, because using 4 to 6 will bump it over the 5 pounds. So enter a custom shipping profile that puts it at, 4 pounds or whatever. Because, yeah, if you use that 4 to 6, it will bump it into the over 5 pound category and charge more than $9.21 if you have it set for Ground Advantage. Let's see. I can change that right before I print the label. So, yes, on the back end, you can always toggle flat rate on. So if you didn't have it set for flat rate, but it's going to fit in a flat rate box, when you go to ship, just click that little pencil that's on the far right side of their order. You scroll all the way over. There's a little pencil. You click that, toggle on the flat rate box, pick the flat rate box you're using, medium, large, whatever, and then you don't have to change anything else. Just pick the box and save and print the label. All right, let's see. My postmaster is mean when I ask him to scan. Yeah, I don't scan, you guys, but I live somewhere. I live in a small town, and our post office is amazing. We just put everything at the window and they scan them. I don't have problems with it. But if you're in a location where if you don't get them scanned, they don't show up, take those scan sheets. That's the main thing, is take a scan sheet so that they're not having to scan every individual package. They'll be a lot nicer about that. Let's see. I have a lot of scrapbook paper. Is flat rate better for that or just weigh like normal? The way I do scrapbook paper is I only sell it by the pound, because you can't safely ship paper for less than a pound because you need it in a box, right? So I just don't sell it for less than a pound. So I do 1 pound bundles. So I show them a bundle of paper, scan through it if they like that bundle, or you could do where they can pick. The only problem with that is it takes forever for people to pick, pieces of paper they want. So I usually do bundles where I show them everything I put in the bundle and sell it as a 1 pound bundle. And then it fits in a medium side load flat rate box. So that's the box that's rectangular and opens on the side. It measures, let's see, those boxes measure 15 by 12 by 4. And so you can fit your 12 by 12. It's actually like 12.25 or something like that. So it fits that paper. Let's see, how much will buyers end up paying on what? Lock and Co. Let's see. If you have your settings set for buyer pays max, does everyone know what I mean by that? So in your shipping settings, let me just show you really quick. In your shipping settings, so I'm going into my account, into Seller Hub, and under shipping. So these are my default shipping settings. Okay, so default shipping settings. Under domestic, I have it set for flat rate. See that? Okay, and then over 5 pounds, I also have it set for flat rate. That's what I use, because what I sell, 90% of the time I can ship in a flat rate. And then shipping costs, right there, shipping costs. Your options are to have it set for seller pays all, that would be free shipping to the buyers and you're paying all the shipping. Or you can set buyer pays up to a shipping cost. And see how I have $9.21 in there? And then the other option is buyer pays all. Okay. If you can offer reduced shipping and put a max cost in there, do it, because that gives you that reduced shipping banner. If you can't, because you can't normally use flat rate boxes, then you need to have that set for buyer pays all. And that is the default. When you first start selling, that's what they have it defaulted to, I believe, is buyer pays all. And you need to go change it if you want to do something different. Hey, Endless Treasure Penny, how are you? Welcome in. All right, let me get back in here so I can see your comments. Let's see. So on the reduced shipping. On the reduced shipping, it is kind of confusing. You need to go through that shipping 101 that I have pinned there. Make sure you screenshot all those sheets and go through them and figure shipping out. It really isn't that confusing. Here's the verbal how to do shipping in like 5 words. Okay. If 85 to 90% of what you sell is going to fit in flat rate boxes, have your shipping settings set for 1 to 5 pounds flat rate, 5 pounds and over flat rate, and buyer pays max $9.21. Boom. If what you sell is not going to typically fit in flat rate boxes, your shipping settings should be 1 to 5 pounds priority, 5 pounds and over ground advantage, buyer pays all. There you go. Okay. And then if you get to a point where you're selling huge amounts of stuff, you can manipulate that. You can offer free shipping. You can offer reduced shipping. And then you just pay part of everybody's shipping because you're selling so dang much that it doesn't matter. Okay. So it really is pretty simple. You just have to make sure that you have it set for what makes sense for what you sell. Okay. Yeah, what do you do when post office doesn't scan and it gets stuck in limbo? I don't know. That's a good question, because that is a big problem and it's outside of our control. So you just try to offer it to customer service by, letting them know that the post office didn't scan it, and, that hopefully it shows up. And then if it doesn't, after a certain amount of time, then you're probably going to have to, offer them a refund, or, give them some coupons to come back and shop another day. So, yeah. Lost mermaid gifts. I sent a question to your messages. It was a bit long. Okay. I'll try and read it and answer best I can. Let's see. What would you advise as the best shipping profile for clothing, with each item weighing approximately 1 to 2 pounds? So, Lock & Co., the answer to that is if you're selling a lot of merchandise and people's bundled orders are not going to fit in a large flat rate box, then you probably want to have the 1 to 5 pounds priority and 5 pounds and over ground advantage. And then maybe what you can do is, offer some coupons. You can maybe offer a coupon that gives free shipping every once in a while to a few customers. You can use the rewards program, things like that. If you're selling at a low volume still, do flat rate and buyer pays max $9.21, because that will help you build your clientele, and then you change your shipping when it gets to where people are buying so much that you would use all your adjustments. So I've done some bookmark and sticker giveaways and it keeps defaulting to ground advantage. How can I get it just to a white envelope? So it's that's another one that you got to follow the instructions exactly. Let me get the envelope shipping guide pinned. Okay, envelope shipping guide. If you want to be able to use the plain white envelope option, I think the biggest mistake people make is that they don't actually do all the steps. And so somewhere in there, they missed one of the steps. The 3 things you have to do is, first, you have to turn it on in your settings, in your shipping settings, on your main profile, and in the show, if it's a show you already had scheduled before you updated your shipping settings on your main profile. You have to update it in both places. So in the show, let me show you. Okay, so I have this show scheduled today, right? So I click on it to open it. I'm not going to start it. I'm just clicking on it to open it. And I'm going to edit it by clicking the 3 little dots, if I can find them. And then you click Edit Show. Okay, Edit Show. Then you scroll down to your shipping settings in that show. So shipping settings right here. I'm inside the show. And I drop that menu down. So domestic shipments. I click that. See that first class letter? If that's not toggled on in the show that you want to use, plain white envelope, it will not calculate it correctly because you don't have it turned on. So that's the first mistake people make, is you got to update the show that you already had scheduled. And then when you list the item, there's only 3 categories of items that can be shipped in an envelope: stickers, trading cards, and sports cards. Those 3. If the listing, when you listed it, if you listed it as, craft item, it's not going to ship in an envelope. It won't even give that option. Only 3 categories: stickers, trading cards, sports cards. So your listing has to be that category. So if your giveaway, the category needs to be stickers if you're sending stickers. And then the other thing is that the shipping weight needs to be envelope. If you're in the United States, it's envelope. If you're outside the United States, it's 0 to 1 ounce. Okay. What about tea in an envelope? If it's less than a 1/4 inch thick, I would hesitate about tea because I think with it going through the machines, it's going to probably crunch up the tea bag, and they're going to open the envelope, and the tea is going to be loose all over in the envelope. That's my opinion. But if there's a tea that comes in like a little super flat packed bag that you think wouldn't get opened up, then sure. Flat keychain. I don't think a keychain is going to be flat enough because you have to have things that can go through their machines, and a keychain, if it's got any metal in it, is going to get jammed up in their machine and get pulled out and sent back for postage due. I mean, if it's made out of paper, fabric, possibly really thin leather or faux leather, maybe. So, yeah, one of those steps, if it's not working for you, there's something in those steps that you're missing. Maybe you didn't even turn it on in your main profile shipping. And then when you scheduled shows, it's not turned on. So in your main profile, so you need to go to your account. So Seller Hub, account, shipping, and that's where you turn it on under domestic as well. So it's got to be toggled on in your main profile shipping settings and in your shows for it to work. But yeah, I've got that pinned. So on your screen, if you want to try and use the envelopes for stickers or gift cards or any cards, just click that, bring it up, screenshot it, make sure you go through that with a fine-tooth comb. I know it's boring. It's instructions. Nobody likes to read the instructions. But if you don't read the instructions, it won't work. So it's one of those life lessons. Read the instructions before you put the bicycle together, right? All right. Possibly a small necklace would work if it's, flat inside a little pack, in a little cellophane pack or something. But yeah, you can definitely do gift cards. I use the trading card other when I use gift card, just because it's a card, right? But I use sticker mostly. That's what I usually use. I just use stickers because I usually send a sticker with a card in an envelope. So, and another thing I've been sending is little flat squares of fabric that they can make bookmarks out of because I sell to sewers. So that works. And that is the cheapest option for giveaways, to use that envelope shipping, because you can send stickers, gift cards, trading cards. I see a lot of people they'll go pick up a couple packs of Pokemon cards, open them, and send Pokemon cards. Or the thing is, it has to be valued at $20 or less, though, because it doesn't get tracked. It goes in an envelope. It's snail mail. I tell people when I do giveaways, this is the giveaway. I show them. And then I say, if you have an order, it will come with your order. If you don't have an order, it's coming in an envelope. And so the expectation is set up front that they're getting this in an envelope. Yeah, seed packets would be good. As long as it will fit in the dimensions that it mentions in this envelope shipping guide, and it's flat enough, and yeah, all that stuff. So some examples I've seen, a lady who sells cosmetics was giving away those little face masks that are in a foil pack. They're dry, and they're the ones you open up and add water and put on your face. It's like a little paper face mask that has some stuff infused in it, and you add water. And they were in a little foil pack, about this size. Perfect. I saw someone doing those little nail decals that come in a flat pack, the little sticker nail decals. Perfect. Okay. Does a giveaway automatically bundle if they purchase another item? Yes. So that's the beauty of it, is that when you run a giveaway, if they make a purchase after, it bundles it with that purchase. And then you're not sending the envelope, you're sending their package with that giveaway in it. And it does still reduce their shipping very little, a little amount. So they do get reduced shipping too by 69 cents because they made a purchase after they got that giveaway. It does still charge you for the giveaway if they won the giveaway before they made a purchase. But, it totally justifies it, right? If they win the giveaway, you only get charged 73 cents for the shipping. It reduces their shipping a little bit by 69 cents. And then they make a purchase. It's beautiful, right? So it's worth it to do that. Okay. Let's see. I use stamps for giveaways and add buyer appreciation to their box. Yeah, beautiful. So the buyer appreciation, you don't pay as much because they've already bought something, so the shipping is reduced. And then she's using stamps for giveaways. That's great. I love it. So another thing you can do too is with those giveaways, use the sticker category as your buyer giveaway as well. And then because they bought stuff, it's going to give you still a lower cost if they didn't buy a ton, but they bought enough. Does that make sense? Endless Treasure said I had an order that I had to unbundle into 3 flat rate boxes and use my adjustments allowances. Was that the best way to handle a large order? Well, you're going to use your adjustments no matter what, but you could have used a toggled flat rate off and then used a ground advantage and used larger box and had only 1 adjustment instead of 2. So if someone buys a ton of stuff, like I did one yesterday, where they bought a ton of stuff, too much to fit in a large flat rate box. So when I went to do the order, I toggled flat rate off and then used a larger box of my own that I had and put their whole order in a larger box. Of course, it was over 5 pounds, so it's going ground advantage. And I just put in the measurements and the weight and used 1 of my adjustments instead of 2, if that makes sense. So it just depends. So if it's going to be 2 boxes, it's 6s, you can still do 2 flat rates and give them the priority. If it's more than 2 boxes, you can do the flat, or you can do the ground advantage, put it in 1 big box. Yeah, so that works. So sticker and card giving should cost the seller 73 cents. Yes, unless you, that's what it costs the seller. If you put it in correctly, it should cost you 73 cents. And then when you go to mail it, if it ends up being a little bit heavier, you can change the weight and it will show that it charges more, but it doesn't actually end up charging you more. It just puts the additional postage on there. So if I have an old baseball card as a giveaway, can I sell it in that category? Yeah. So in your giveaway, you can put in sports cards because that's one of the categories that allows envelope shipping. just make sure it's a card that is not valued at more than $20, because you shouldn't be sending something as a giveaway valued over $20. Yeah. Yeah. So just, yeah, if it's just one sports card that you're sending as a giveaway, just, put it under sports cards, because that's actually what it is. And that is allowed as one of the options that can be mailed in an envelope. Yeah. All right. So we've been on for more than an hour. Does anyone have anything else they really need answered? Let's see. I see some people that you buy the 921 flat rate and fill it. Is that a good way to do for clothes? You can do that. So here's the thing about doing shows like that, bundle shows. You need to make sure that you have it set for flat rate, right? But you have a custom profile entered where it only allows one per box, because you're filling an entire box. And then you need your shipping settings set to buyer pays all, because if they buy more than one box, it's $9.21 a box. So if they buy 5 boxes, they're getting 5 separate boxes shipped to them at $9.21 per box. Because you don't want to pay the extra if they buy 5 boxes. You don't want to pay the other 4 boxes shipping rate. That would kill you, right? So you've got to make sure you have it set up right. So instead of having buyer pays max $9.21, it's buyer pays all, and then custom shipping profile for, large flat rate box or whatever flat rate box you're using. One clothing bundle, large flat rate box, and it's set to only allow one per order, so that it charges them separately if they buy more than one box full. Okay, so yeah, if you do that, just make sure you have it set right. Let's see. Sorry, I missed my answer earlier. What would you advise as the best shipping profile for clothing with each item weighing approximately 1 to 2 pounds? So my answer was it depends on the volume you sell. So if you're selling just a little bit because you're new, do flat rate, because you should be able to fit, 3-4 items in a flat rate box. If you're selling at a higher volume, you probably want to do 1 to 5 pounds priority, 5 pounds and over ground advantage, because then you're not, having to pay or use all your adjustments if someone bought too much. So that depends on your volume. So when you're new, if you're selling at a lower volume, try to do flat rate, and offer the $9.21 reduced shipping buyer pays max, because then you get the reduced shipping banner. But once you start selling more volume, you may have to switch, because otherwise you're going to be paying too much of everybody's shipping until you get to that volume where it doesn't matter and you're willing to pay their shipping. Does that make sense? So it just depends on the volume you're selling. So if you have people that purchase a lot and you think it's going to use up all your adjustments, and you're not going to be able to, ship it without having to pay too much shipping, then have it set for, priority and ground advantage. But if you think you only need those few adjustments, I'd still try to do flat rate and offer the reduced shipping, because that encourages people to buy more. So you just have to kind of weigh it and see what you think is going to work out best. Because there is a point at which you are starting to sell enough that if you want to go big, you keep reduced shipping or even free shipping, because then people are buying so much that you're willing to pay the shipping. Does that make sense? And the statistics are that 50% of all sellers who offer free or reduced shipping recoup 100% of the cost to do it. So in other words, people buy enough that it offsets 100% of the cost, and then you have that much more profit. So it just offsets it. So it just depends on your volume. Shiwi, I set up shipping wrong for reduced shipping show. Whatnot charged me more than it ended up costing when I bundled. Can I get the overage back? For reduced shipping show, Whatnot charged me more than it ended up costing when I bundled. Can I get the overage back? You can certainly try, but probably not. Honestly, they're not very good about, like, whatever shipping settings you had in there, they're just going to tell you this is what you had it set at. So you need to make sure your settings are correct before your show. But you can definitely try, because you can show what you ended up paying. So you can message customer service and try that. I'll be honest, good luck, because they're going to just refer back to whatever settings you had in there. So yeah. One more time, the way to offer reduced shipping. So to offer reduced shipping, you have to have your settings set to buyer pays max and then the amount. And if you want it to just be the amount of a flat rate package, it should be set for $9.21. So in your shipping settings, in your account, so I'm in my account, Seller Hub, shipping, right? And then the shipping cost is right there, shipping costs. And you just tap that, and the three options are seller pays all, which would be free shipping. Buyer pays up to a max, and see how I have it clicked on, and I have it set for $9.21. And then buyer pays all. Those are your three options. So in order to have that reduced shipping banner, you need to have the buyer pays max and then fill in an amount. You can offer less. So if you wanted to do a show where you're going to pay, that you have it set for flat rate and you're going to pay, $5 of their shipping, or what it would be, $9.21. So if you're going to pay the additional $4.21, you could have it set for $5. Everyone only pays $5 in this show for shipping. Try it out. See how it goes. It definitely encourages people to buy more. So it's just whatever is going to work for you, and you have to figure that out. All right, so I need to go. Everybody have a wonderful day. I'm going to go find someone to raid. And I do have, if everyone will please look in the show notes and make sure you have the show notes screenshotted, because they've got those starred bullets for the resources that Whatnot offers to sellers to learn and help you. And then also I do multicast to both Facebook and YouTube. And I've got my YouTube account on there. If you'll please subscribe to my YouTube channel, then you can go back and rewatch, or if you miss a show, you can catch it on YouTube. So my YouTube channel is Draz on Whatnot. All lowercase, all one word. Draz on Whatnot. So please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. And again, you'll be able to rewatch or catch shows that you missed. So if you go do that. All right, you are so welcome. Let me go see who we can raid. Oh, thank you for the tip. That was very kind of you, Crick. Appreciate the tip. Always an awesome thing to have people do when I am doing these shows. All right, let's see. Let me just see who's on, if anyone else is on doing community shows. or we'll find a friend to read into. Let's see. Now, Reworker's Passion comes on in a little bit, but she's not on quite yet. So let me see. Where do we want to go? All right, we're going to read into Common Cloth. She's talking about how to attract buyers, and she does community chats. So Common Cloth, spelled with a K, is where we're headed. So everybody have a wonderful day, and bookmark my upcoming shows if you found this valuable. And we'll see you again soon. Let me get this queued up here. One of my tips on my thing is to always raid. So I always raid. And here we go. Thanks, everyone.